Inside Sources.
Inside Sources.
America's voice of reason. Boyd Matheson on Utah's home for elevated conversation. Inside Sources on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back to Inside Sources here on KSL News Radio. It's great to be with you today. As always, we're broadcasting live from the Utah Valley Growth and Prosperity Summit. We're down here on the campus of Utah Valley University, and this has just been an amazing afternoon, bringing together business leaders, education leaders, community leaders, all talking about the future and what we can all do. And the whole way this has come about, this is no small task to bring it all together. And so we want to talk a little bit about that, and then we want to get to the real therefore what moment in terms of what should these people who've been participating in this extraordinary event today, what should they do as they walk out at the end. And really thrilled to have Matt Day joining us. He's the Chief Operating Officer at Sunrise Engineering, and he's the co-chair of the 2023 Growth and Prosperity Summit. And Matt, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for being here, Boyd.
And I know you're just getting ready to go back on stage to round things out, but give us a little sense of the front end and what it actually takes to bring together and really gather this kind of group.
You know, working with the chamber and the staff of the chamber has been phenomenal. David Rowley and Curtis Blair and their staff just make things happen. They have all the connections, and I've just been in awe today in the breakout sessions to see the people they've been able to convene and have great conversations about growth and about the challenges that it brings and the opportunities that people are making happen every day.
Yeah, and those challenges are real when you look at the growth, especially at Utah Valley in particular, fastest growing in the country, all kinds of opportunity and all kinds of challenges that come with growth. They're good problems to have. They're way better than the alternative. But give us a sense of some of those breakout sessions and some of the hallway conversations that are going on today.
So great conversations about education and interaction with business community, trying to make that connection, improve opportunities for students, improve opportunities for potentially home buyers.
Yeah.
And trying to deal with transportation issues. Yeah. Trying to deal with natural resources and our water situation. There have been some good conversations about that. I think probably one of the big takeaways for me is that there's something that we can all do, that it's not just up to our government officials, and it's not up to even the federal government to take care of us. Yeah. We have a role to play in what's going on in our lives and in the community and in our county. Yeah,
no question about it. And as we always say, it's community and culture that lead. The politicians, especially those in Washington, D.C., tend to follow. And we can be a little pessimistic about some of the politics in Washington, D.C. I don't know that I've ever been more bullish about the future of the country. And people often ask me about that. And why? How can you be positive given all the negatives that are going on around the country and around the world? And I always say, I live in Utah Valley. I live in a neighborhood in Cedar Hills, and I see it happen every day. And so as you look at it from your unique perch, Matt, what is it that gives you confidence in the future, the growth and prosperity of Utah Valley?
Well, one of the big things is that a lot of the jobs that students who were educated here were leaving for are now coming back here. There's a lot of industry and a lot of technology jobs, a lot of things that are bringing our students back. And I think they were reporting today that 78% of UVU students are still here 10 years later.
Wow.
And that's a remarkable number. So I think that gives us optimism that it's not just producing great young people, but keeping them here.
Yeah, being able to stay, and I know a lot of those conversations in those breakout sessions have included housing and water and transportation, as you mentioned earlier. What else do you look at in terms of one of those challenging conversations that we need to lean into just a little bit more?
Well, I think the housing situation in the county is a big question. I have two of my children that live here in the county, and they've struggled to find adequate housing, and their growing families are pinched in their quarters.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly how to answer that question, but great jobs is part of that solution. And obviously creating opportunities for them to find housing and affordable housing would be kind of top of mind, I think, in their minds.
Yeah. Well, as the co-chair for the 2023 version of the Growth and Prosperity Summit, we often talk about these kinds of events and the bumpability factor, the hallway conversations. Give us a sense from some of those that you've bumped into as you've been wandering around today.
Well, they've been pretty scattered, actually. Met with some mayors and some of the county commissioners, the UTA people, and UDOT. They're all trying to work together, and that's one of the things that I'm interested to see as we move forward. Is how does each member of our community, at each level of government, or local or state, or PTA presidents, or fifth grade school teachers, how are we tackling the challenges together and listening to each other to try and understand the problems, understand the opportunities, and tackle them.
Yeah. Well, before I let you go, and I know you're scheduled to run up on stage and really deliver what we refer to as the therefore what moment. And what do you hope people do different? What do you hope they think different as they walk out of this Growth and Prosperity Summit today? So
today we've heard from a lot of very smart people. And a lot of people that are engaged in this question, in how do we grow, how does it look, can we be prosperous and grow? And we want to invite people, not just here that are in the summit, but everyone, to think a little bit differently about how they approach this growth question.
Yeah.
I did a little bit of research, and I heard a commercial 5 years ago. Michael Phelps teamed up with Colgate on a water conservation effort. And this is kind of an analogy to many of the challenges we can face. But he basically said, if we can stop the water while we brush our teeth, we can save up to 4 gallons every time we brush our teeth.
Yeah.
So that's 8 gallons a day. There are about 700,000 people in the county. So if we just turn the faucet off while we brush our teeth, then we can save 5.5 million gallons every day. That kind of broad approach to the problems that we have, I think, is really the answer.
Yeah.
Our elected officials can do so much, and these agencies and associations can do so much, but in the end, it's our problem.
Yeah.
And we can be a big part of it. So we want to invite people to think about what they can do to change the structure and the direction and how growth looks to us. And we want them to take a video, pull their phone out, get that video studio that everyone has in their hand, and document some ways that they're doing that, and then send that to the chamber.
Love that.
So they can find that at thechamber.org, and a link to a submission site there. And we're gonna highlight those videos in our next meeting, next summit next year.
Oh, fantastic. How can I make a difference today? What can you do to make a difference today? Document that. Be part of the solution as we look at growth and prosperity, particularly in Utah Valley, but across the state and around the planet. We all have a role to play. Matt Day is the Chief Operating Officer at Sunrise Engineering. He's the co-chair of the 2023 Growth and Prosperity Summit. Matt, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.